Good morning, everybody. I would like to welcome you to Musical Composition Career Day. Hey, thank you all for coming to this session. It's a very, very special session. I'd like to introduce you guys to one-of-a-kind musician, truly musical legend. His family is musical legends as well. They've been written up in magazines and books.
All students should be with our second session, and I would also like to remind our ASB hosts that after about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, to come on back down to the counseling center for some follow-ups. Thank you.
And there's a lot of exciting things that he is going to be speaking to you guys about, and he will also have an open question and answer period towards the end of his presentation, so you guys can ask whatever you like. And without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Kelle Rhoads.
Thank you very much. It's really a very, very, very great experience for me to come to your beautiful school. I graduated from high school in 1971. It's so strange to be back among all the kids your age. It brings back a lot of memories. It's really been a kind of a surreal experience. You have a beautiful campus here. It's my honor to come and speak to you about the music business. I'm going to break my talk into two major subjects. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the music business in general from an artist's perspective. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about what my own personal career entailed. And then I'm going to let you ask me questions. You can ask me questions about anything that you like. Now, first of all, I'm going to go at it like this. There's two basic main ways that people get into the music business, actually. You're talking about something that is different than any other kind of business. If you want to be an accountant, say you want to be an accountant, you're going to finish high school, you're going to go and take a business course in a college. Maybe you'll go to a 2-year college, maybe you'll go right away to a 4 and get your degree, but you're going to take specific subjects: finance, business law, negotiation. You're going to take different things that give you the tools that you need, but when you're done, you're going to have a certificate. You're going to have something that says you can be a certified public accountant. So you either join an accountancy or you start your own. It's not that way in the music business at all. There's no specific formula. What worked for Taylor Swift would have never worked for Janis Joplin. What works for Beyonce would have never worked for Billie Holiday. There's all kinds of different ways to get into this crazy, unpredictable business. Now, I've broken it down to two main categories. One way is to get in from the inside out, and one way is to get in from the outside in. Let me explain myself. If you get in from the inside out, what that means is you actually go through school and you get a degree, or you study music in a proper fashion. I know that you don't have a band or an orchestra here. When I was going to school, so many of the future musicians were in the jazz band. They were in the school orchestra. They were in the stage band. Then they worked with different friends they had in rock bands, formed rock bands, and went on from there. But what they did was they started in a central location like a school where they actually studied music. If you want to teach music, you must go and you must study music. You must know how to read music, okay? You must know how music works from a mechanical point of view. All right. If you get in it from the opposite way, if you get in it from the perspective that you start with a bunch of friends, group of guys, and you start jamming, that works out. You play a party, that works out. You play in somebody's garage, that works out. Then you start doing clubs, and then you take it from there and you start doing bigger shows, and then you start opening for bands. That's a way to get in from the outside in. To do that, what you need is a lot of luck, and you need to find the right combination of guys. The whole psychology between being in the band, about being in a band, that's a whole talk in itself. I could give a whole lecture just on the way that people in a band get along or don't get along, and why some bands stay together for so long, and why some bands, the people in them fight and they can't get along, and the band breaks up. They make a record, they're doing really good, and then by the time you hear about them, they're already broken up. That happens all the time now. Why? But that's another talk. So let me get back onto what I was saying. Getting into the music business from the inside out, that's like studying, that's like doing the right thing. Going to a music school like my family owns, we'll talk about that in a minute, or from the outside in, which means a couple of guys get together. I play bass guitar. Oh, I know a singer. Well, my cousin's a drummer. And then you start that way, and you form your own nucleus, you write songs, and if your songs are good, you play places, and the sky's the limit. So, that being said, those two different things being said, once you are in the music business, now this is strictly from an artist's perspective, not from a music attorney or somebody who is an agent or somebody who does a function in the music business other than perform or create. Usually what happens when you're a successful artist is you need the following things. You need a manager. You need a manager. Some people manage themselves, but it's rare. You need somebody who is a manager with a track record. You need a lawyer. You need a lawyer. Music lawyers are very, very essential in the music business. It's a different kind of a law altogether. You need a publicist. You need somebody. When you see stuff in magazines, I bet you think, unless you're enlightened, I bet you think that that person's so fascinating, so good looking, and so interesting that let's put them in the magazine this week. Well, you know, unless you invent some kind of a balloon and you want your kid to go up in it, and then everybody wants to know the story about that, what happens is this. You pay somebody to get you in those magazines. You pay somebody to get you press. You pay somebody to get you on one of those talk shows. That's how it works. So you need a manager, you need a booking agent, you need somebody who does publicity. And that's usually the essential crew that people have that are artists. Now, if you're really, really a big artist, you have much more people that work for you than that. You have people that advise you on merchandising. You have people that are tour managers. They only manage you when you're on tour, and they make sure all the equipment gets there. And whatever you don't have is rented or borrowed. So what you need is you need this whole support team behind you. But the thing is this. How do you get to that point? Well, this is a profession that a lot of people would like to be in. Look at American Idol. Look at America Has Talent. Everybody wants this. Well, not everybody. My wife says she doesn't want it. But a lot of people want this thing. This thing that is rock and roll. That's a successful career. It's rare. It's rare. I don't know anybody, and I met a lot of people in my whole life. I don't know anybody who said, I'm going to be rich and famous. I want to get into music. I know a lot of people that said that to me, and they're all doing something different. And none of them are doing music. It's not that way. If you're going to be in this business, you have to want it so bad that even if you don't make any money, I mean, I told the last class this. When I put out 2 records in the 80s, I had 2 record contracts. I had records that were available all over. From those 2 records, up until now, not counting my classical music, which does make music, does make money, those rock records I put out in the 80s, like I told the class before, I think I've made like $19 and something cents from those records that took months and months to record, and then I went on tour. Less than $20. Ha! Right. Ask somebody if they'd be a doctor for less than $20. I don't think so. So it's a profession that you really have to have a lot of passion about. You really, really have to want to do it, because you're going to have a lot of opposition. People in your family are going to tell you, you shouldn't be doing this kind of thing. You should get a job that's dependable, that you can go to each day and stuff like that. Well, who has a job like that nowadays in this economy? But still, in music, it's even worse. It's even worse. So you have to really think about that. If you're going to go into music, you have to want it so passionately that even if there's no money, even if people in your family are telling you, you know what, you should really rethink this. There's too many people that want to do it. It's got to be something that there's just no other option for you. You're going to do music or you just don't want to do anything. In that case, arm yourself. Make contacts. Network. You got something that I didn't have when I was your age. You have the internet. What a fantastic tool. Somebody in Japan can see something that you're doing right now. You can do a show, it can be on YouTube, and somebody can say, you know what, I want that show. And I'm living proof of it because that's what's going on in my life right now.